and welcome to another video of Grim Dawn Ashes of Malmouth. So in today's video I'm going to be covering the Diablo Immortal topic, and I've had some people ask me to comment about this, so I will do so. And before I get into that, I wanted to talk about this mod a little bit here. If you guys haven't tried the Grim Aurelian mod or the Grimmest mod for Grim Dawn, really fun. I'll leave a link in the description below for this mod. It basically just takes the classic Grim Dawn game and gives you a ton of other classes to pick from, some of them being from Titan Quest, some of them being from Diablo 3, the Grim Dawn classes, and then some modded classes over here. Anyway, it's kind of fun to play with. It doesn't alter or change your classic characters, so I'm a huge fan of that. So if you guys are interested in that, I will leave a link in the description below. Alright, so to get into today's topic, which is the Diablo Immortal mobile phone game, and my thoughts on that. So, before I go into great depth about that, I want to try to cover the fact that if you guys have been watching my stream and or YouTube for a few years now, I primarily played Diablo 3 when I started my YouTube channel. And I'm an avid ARPG player. I like games of all types and kinds, but I really do like ARPGs. And I've been a Blizzard fan for many a year. Not so much now, but and that was before the Diablo Immortal announcement, to be fair. But yeah, I've just over time kind of realized that Blizzard is what it is. It's a monopoly, it's a mega company, it's a business now. They're not really entirely worried about making great quality things. They're more worried about quantity, and I'm not saying that to be harsh or rude or mean or anything. It's just that that's how it typically goes whenever a company gets big and or something's a business, right? I mean, their job is to make money. So, having that said, was I surprised when I heard that Diablo Immortal was going to be a mobile phone game, and the announcement was a very big letdown for a lot of Diablo fans? Not really. I wasn't super surprised, and I had even told people whenever people were talking about, you know, Diablo team has big news coming out, you know, they're talking about how it's big news and stuff, you know, I told people then it's going to be something ridiculous, in my opinion, because that's really all it ever has been for the past couple of years. You know, they're like, big Diablo news, it's going to be on PlayStation. Big Diablo news, it's going to be on Switch. Big Diablo news, it's going to be on this. Big Diablo news, you can play it on your toaster. Basically, right? I mean, that's been the thing for, like, years now. And they really haven't done a whole lot to actually work on and or change the core game. And unfortunately, I think Diablo 3 was a loss from the start. The way the game was designed, I'm not a huge fan of. I don't like the fact that everything is weapon damage based. I don't like the fact that you can't utilize and or customize your own attribute points. I don't like the fact that you're only as powerful as they allow you to be. And what I mean by that is, for example, they have sets, and in the beginning of Diablo, the legendaries were just abysmal. They just weren't anything great. They didn't really alter or change your character at all. If you guys remember, oftentimes buying stuff off the auction house, yellow items, whatnot, is what was best. That was the way to go, unfortunately. So anyway, a few years later, they have set items, and I remember whenever they release set items, they'd be like, okay, this set gives you 100% more bonus damage with this skill or these pets, right? And I remember looking at these patch notes whenever they were coming out over time, and I could tell you just by looking at the patch notes, that's going to be awful. Like, that's not going to really do anything good for that class, right? And then they would wait a whole another, like, half a year, whatever, however much time went by, and they would then update that set. They would still be kind of, like, incremental and not very great. And it was weird, because they would do some sets, like Zunamasa's set is a good example. I played Pet Witch Doctor a lot. It was one of those sets where, like, they buffed it a couple of times, slowly in small increments, and I could, like, saw the buff changes, and I knew they were awful just by reading the patch notes. I was like, that's not going to do crap. And then they would do something with, like, another set, like another class, like Demon Hunter. They'd be like, oh, let's give that 600% increased damage with this skill. And it's like, well, clearly, 600% increased damage versus, like, 100%, you know, clearly this Demon Hunter set is going to be way more superior and strong, so on and so forth, you know. So it just, I don't know. I just felt like it was power creep, obviously, and it just really didn't feel unique to me when you played a character in Diablo 3. It felt like you could only be as good as they allowed you to be. And I had a big problem with that. I was not a fan of that at all. So, and this criticism comes from tough love, kind of, right? You know, I don't want to see any company or any person fail in life, obviously. I mean, we shouldn't want that unless they're an awful human being and they wouldn't go around hurting people, obviously. But, you know, it's sad because Blizzard was a fantastic gaming company, and they've carved like the way for a lot of gaming genres throughout history, right? I mean, they've made some pretty good games, and it's kind of sad to see it go in that direction, really. And it is a big letdown, and I do think that fans are justified in being angry and upset. I do think that it's a fair reaction. Do they have to be really harsh and mean or like you know, name call or anything like that? No, but I think you can get your point across by simply just stating that I'm not happy with this, and there's nothing wrong with saying that. And you know, I don't know, as far as the allegations go, I don't know, I don't have proof of Blizzard silencing or removing comments per se. I do know that a friend of mine, a personal friend of mine, a few years ago made a post on the Diablo forums. No criticism of any harsh value. He wasn't calling anybody names. He was just simply saying, like, I'm not happy with the way D3 is going, and these are my reasons why, X, Y, Z, whatever, you know. And I do know that Blizzard removed his comment, and he got banned from the forums for a temporary amount of time. That did happen. And I did personally witness that because, you know, like I said, it was a real life friend of mine. And same thing. People called us out on the forums, me and my buddy, telling us that we're haters, and it was like hardcore fanboys and stuff. And like I said, I've been saying for years that Diablo is going downhill and or already dead, which I feel like Diablo died a long time ago, personally. And I've been trying to tell people this, and much like most situations, you know, you can't make people, sorry, excuse me, I'm burping a little bit. You can't make people listen to you, right? And that wasn't our goal. We weren't trying to sway people into our opinion per se, or how we felt. We were just trying to bring light to the fact that, you know, hey, this all could have been much better, you know. Just didn't like the way the game was designed, you know. It took something fantastic and really watered it down. That's really what, if you want me to be blatantly honest, I feel like a lot of Blizzard games are just a mix of other games that have done pretty well, of late anyway, and they're like watered down versions of those games. Honestly, that's what it feels like to me. And it's unfortunate, you know. I wish Blizzard would, instead of trying to get like as much audience as possible and grab as much money as possible, I wish they would, you know, it's okay to have some games like that. Let's be honest. I think it's okay to have some games like that, but let's have some passionate games, or like some really well thought out games, or some really good, in-depth, you know, complicated games for people who really enjoy gaming. Like, that's like their massive hobby. They want to like get invested in theory crafting and thinking about what to do with their character, right? So that's one of the reasons why I play Grim Dawn, right? And I understand that's why people play like Path of Exile. I don't prefer Path of Exile, but I won't sit here and say Path of Exile is an awful game just because I don't prefer it. I can recognize when something's good even though I may not like it. So, you know, like, I know Path of Exile is a good game. Grim Dawn, I think, is a good game. And with the expansion coming out soon, you know, I'm going to be really invested with that. I'm kind of doing this mod currently just to give myself something to do while I wait for the expansion, because I've done basically everything there is to do in the normal game. But I need to do some update videos on some of my builds and other builds I haven't updated yet, I know. But anyway, neither here nor there. So overall, in conclusion, I do think it was a mistake for Blizzard to go that route. And what it comes down to is, as the gamers and as the consumers, it's kind of our fault too, because every time we purchase a Blizzard product, or every time we buy something that we're unhappy with and don't like, as long as it's making sales, these companies are going to keep doing it. And that's the whole point of this video. You know, these are my feelings and my thoughts on this, is that if you keep buying and or keep giving money into something that doesn't have to try, like, you know, it's one of those deals where, like, as crappy as it is, if I could give least effort to something and make lots of money off of it, I'm not going to say I probably wouldn't take that route, I guess. Then again, I also want to do a really good job at what I'm doing and provide good content. So, I mean, I can kind of understand the two sides of that, if that makes sense. But anyway, it's kind of our fault too, right? So if we don't like something, don't purchase it, don't support it. That's really what it comes down to. And hopefully Blizzard will start listening, and hopefully we'll see the quality of games change as time goes on. But like much things in our current society, like I even think movies, video games, you know, it's all about trying to make money nowadays. So anyway, just my thoughts on that. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think. And I'd also like to mention that I do have a community Discord that you guys can join. I don't mention this enough in my videos. I had something here I was going to show everybody. But anyway, yeah, so I do have a community Discord. I'll leave that in the link in the description below. So yeah, all that good stuff. Anyway, as always, thank you for taking the time to watch my videos. I appreciate it. I hope everybody's having a wonderful day and weekend. And as always, I will see you guys next time. Thank you so much, and take care.